So
All right, so let me. I was told that people couldn't hear us. If you can hear us, let us know. If you can't hear us, let us know also. Um, but nonetheless, um, so my takeaway, I agree with the overreaction. I do. So I'm a Cowboys fan, and Dak got hurt, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably overreacted myself. So I'm like, oh, here we go. And say, the season's over. And I don't normally be like that. I'm Mr. Optimist about it. It took me back to 2015 when Romo got hurt and the season was over. Even though late into the season, I think we were like 4-8 and still had a shot at winning the division. Then you have 2020 where Dak gets hurt, and it's like, oh, here we go again. So that was where I was just like, man, this is bull crap. But after talking to some people and just looking at what's going on, Cooper Rush may actually make a name for himself.
right, but I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't say that the season is over. I just say that it was definitely a blow to Cowboy Nation. I mean, one thing that was obvious, and I mean that we kind of touched upon it. Most quarterbacks didn't look good, but it's real obvious everything that he brings to that Cowboys team. Like him or not, I mean he definitely is like the glue that holds that team
Absolutely.
together. And I mean you could just see it, even though he was having a bad game. So I think it's not really it's an overreaction, but I can see why you could say, hey, the season is over because they put a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you. So I don't. So I watch a lot of like the different sports shows, and I know they're making a big deal of losing Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson. Um, all right, so guys, they can hear us now. We good.
Okay.
We good. We good. But making a big deal of losing Cedric Wilson, Amari Cooper, Leo Collins, um, among some other people that were lost, and people don't take into account. Um, they don't take into account that Leo Collins got big money from Detroit and was getting thrown like a rag doll by T.J. Watt, but whatever. You got Connor Williams, who's in Miami. They said, oh, he was the highest rated player on their team, and I get it. That's all fine and dandy, but I mean, come on, man. He wasn't the greatest last year for us, which it would have been nice to have him now, just because
Right.
we have the injuries. But I'm not concerned. We signed Jason Peters a couple weeks ago, and yes, Jason Peters is older, but he's a vet, and when he's healthy, he's a baller. Even I want to say it was last year he played, and I mean I think he was rated like the 15th, rated 15 out of all the left
I
tackles.
think that was a good sign.
Yeah,
Even though
absolutely.
I was impressed with the, I believe he's a rookie
He's a rookie.
that you guys had a right tackle. I mean, he was
Yeah.
over his own.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not like to the point where I'm like, oh, the season's over. Now I did again. Overreacted but I came to my sense after thinking about it. And like, wait a minute, like Zeke rushed for 5 yards, have 5 yards of carry. Yeah, we couldn't run the ball. We didn't. We stopped running the ball, but and I get it. But the defense looked good. Zeke looked good. I mean, I don't think we used Pollard enough. Um, we should have used him a little bit more. But then you got to remember that Gallup is coming back. I think in like a month, James Washington is coming back. So,
And it's Tampa Bay,
and
right?
it's
So,
Tampa
yeah,
Bay,
so it's
absolutely
not like Tampa Bay is a pushover team. Now,
right.
I'll get right into it. It's not like they're the Bears or anything. Like, that hurt. That hurt.
So I didn't bug you after this. I saw it, and I rarely bring it up. Because
We got to get into it. We got to start talking.
So, all right, you know what? You want the floor? Do you want the floor?
No,
I mean,
hey, you started. I mean, fair is fair. I mean, we talked the Cowboys. We gotta talk about Biden.
okay, all right. So, I'm glad we're in the same room now because I could really.
Gauge my feelings and emotions. Come on.
So yeah, let's we're gonna have a counseling session right now. So the Bears are the Bears. Um, I assume that you had your team winning that game easily. And I want to say that y'all were like 8-point favorites or something to that effect. And we didn't take into account the weather, right? Now that shouldn't be an excuse because it's the same field. The other team is playing on the same field. How did you feel your quarterback looked yesterday? I mean on Sunday.
So I wasn't pleased, but at the same time, he's got 6 more games with us.
6?
Yeah, no. We'll talk. So the front half of our schedule is fairly favorable.
Okay. Well, you thought because you just had the Bears and.
Well, we got Seattle, we got the Bears, which most teams watch the Bears beat the 49ers, but they're not scared of the Bears still. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
the Bears won, they beat us, but I don't think that people saw that game and was like, ooh, you got to really watch out for the Bears. So, to your point, yeah, the weather was an issue, but that was a winnable game.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Against a team that we should have beat because we were the favorites, and on paper we're supposed to be better. So those are the games that you have to win.
Absolutely.
So if you look at the beginning of our season, so we got Seattle, right? Seattle is equivalent to the Bears. They beat the Broncos, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But nobody saw that game and was like, ooh, you know, Smith. You know what I mean? Like Smith
right.
So we got Seattle, right? Another winnable game that we should be able to win.
Right.
He's not necessarily on notice, but we're evaluating. And it's not like other rookies that I've seen where they've had.
He's not a
even
rookie.
Yeah. Second-year player.
Right.
But it's not like other second-year players where you're going against Tampa or you're going against the Packers or you're going against the Chiefs. These are winnable games that we get to see grow up. With that said, I want to see how that's going to shake out. Because if the season is salvageable, I think they'll call for Jimmy G.
Damn, that's the last. Yeah, I don't think you could do that.
I think they will if this is an epic disaster. Because Shanahan's name is tied to Trey Lance, right?
Absolutely.
He's risked a great deal of his reputation on trading up, getting the draft pick to get him. So I think if this goes all the way left to where we're below 500 or we don't win the game, he's going to have to do something. And it might be putting in Garoppolo. Now, a couple of things that I think wasn't fair is Eli Mitchell was a tremendous loss in that game. Like you said, the weather that took away from some of the things that we did. Having Kittle out is detrimental, but Kittle may be out this game too. I think he left practice today with, I believe it's a hamstring, so he may be out today as well. I mean, not today, but next week.
So that's Kittle?
Yeah. That's huge.
And so is he considered injury prone now?
Oh, he's absolutely injury prone.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back and average 150 yards a game again.
He's so good that I don't. I'm not gonna say I don't mind it, but I still like Kittle. But yeah, he's injury prone.
All right, so here's the thing. What did you think about the Bears? How did you think the Bears looked?
I think the Bears look like shit. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I was looking.
Oh,
I was like, we look like some shit because they definitely look like some shit. Like it just it was probably I'm not even gonna lie. It was easily the ugliest football game of the weekend. Like both of us looked like shit out there. I mean, it was bad, man. It was a bad brand of football, and we give it a pass because of the weather. But now look at they played at Justin Fields. I'm like, man,
so but you know what's crazy? Because when last year when y'all played the I don't know what just happened on the screen. All right, last year when y'all played the Bears, Justin Fields rookie year, yeah, I ain't look that great either. I mean, Justin Fields actually looked better then than he did this past season. But again, it was the first game of the season, and I know we talked before about like the way the quarterbacks are right now in the league. The league hasn't been better in regards to quarterbacks as a whole. But that wasn't good quarterback. It wasn't good quarterback play for a majority of the game, and it wasn't good line play. And I guess if your old line is bad, your quarterback is gonna struggle. So I mean, it's week one, and week one it is what it is. Everywhere I take week one, and I look at it like, it's only week one. I put it and wrap it up, throw that joint away because it don't matter. Like it really like week one ain't gonna make or break your season unless you get hit with a bunch of injuries, and going to Baltimore, we know Lamar Jackson ain't signed he ain't signed a deal, and then like now they got ravaged with a bunch of injuries again. And here's the thing, here's the thing. I know I said it last year and I said it jokingly, but at this point, the strength and conditioning coach for the Ravens,
absolutely,
he has to go.
you got it.
He gotta go. Like they're having way too many injuries, like, and it's like multiple guys. It's not like it's just like one guy here, one guy there. And yes, we know injuries are a part of the game, but my God, like,
So let's go back to something that you said. Lamar Jackson, right?
mm-hmm,
His contract, like they didn't get it done, and
mm-hmm,
his mother.
right?
You think that that's a mistake?
No, because like if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, God forbid, he's still gonna get $200 million next year.
Yeah.
He's still gonna get it, even if it's not from the Ravens. He's gonna get. I mean, or they're gonna franchise him because
I believe they're going to franchise him.
yeah, and don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they franchise him and he never plays for them again. Now,
Yeah. If they franchise him and they don't figure out how to get that deal done,
mm-hmm.
oh yeah, he's done.
Well, they better. He better.
So I heard a rumor that he wants 290.
Give it to him.
You say give him 290?
Give it to him. Because that's less than what I was saying he was going to get or he should get. He should reset the market. I mean, because here's the thing. And this is, I think, it's more pressure on the Baltimore than it is Lamar Jackson because nonetheless, even if he gets franchised next year, the thing is, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are about to get paid. Like they got Justin Herbert. Everybody gushes over him. He ain't been in the playoffs yet, but everybody gushes over him. Joe Burrow was just in the Super Bowl. They're about to get paid, and so yes, that Deshaun Watson contract kind of screwed things up, but not it wouldn't have mattered for Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. They're gonna get the bag, and then we're just gonna be looking like because now they're gonna have to because that franchise tag is gonna be outrageous. I don't even know what the tag is right now. If you get tagged as a quarter, I think it was like 38 million or something like that. Yeah, so it's like, yo, this is gonna get bad for them because if you don't sign Joe Burrow, I mean not Joe Burrow, but Lamar Jackson, and you allow and you try and franchise him, one you're gonna screw up your cap, and then two you're gonna be looking crazy because you should have got this done 2 years ago. and it's gonna ultimately be what it was with Dak Prescott, and you're gonna end up overpaying, which because 250, if they could have said it where it was 290, and it's 290, and now it's all fake numbers.
I believe he wants 290 guaranteed, right?
Fully guaranteed.
Yeah, I think he wants fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just 290.
I don't know if it's 290 fully guaranteed, but I do think he wants at least 231 fully guaranteed.
Nah, I think he's at least 30 million over it. I mean, because you got to think about it, right? In his mind, if you think I'm an MVP,
Mm-hmm.
I have no off the field
Issues.
problems.
Yep.
You look at my production. You look at my team.
He wins 75%. He wins 75% of his games.
Yeah, you gave this guy that went to the playoffs with one time. He's got 24 lawsuits. Doesn't have an MVP. He gave him 231.
Yeah, I mean Cleveland had to do that. We talked about that.
Yeah, they will continue to have to overpay their players. Were you surprised they won?
No, I think that my Browns. No, I'm joking. They're not my Browns. But I actually might go to a Browns game, but whatever. Nah, I think they had something to play for, even though they didn't have. Brissett is Brissett. He's a vet, but I think that defense and mainly Myles Garrett was like that dude over there. That's on the other team. I don't really like him like that,
Right.
and I wanna destroy him. So, okay, sorry. Nah, but he's just like Myles Garrett wanted to do something bad to Baker Mayfield. So I think that I wasn't surprised that they won. I wasn't surprised. I mean Christian McCaffrey looked good. Yeah, that was about it. But that was about it. So I think that they'll be all right.
You know Christian McCaffrey looked good?
He looked all right. I mean, he didn't get hurt, so that's a plus.
I feel like they didn't use him like they should have. Like if you look at it, like he only had 33 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he had like 22 or 23 yards receiving. It was like they didn't get him involved there. Like you said, when he was out there and when he did have the ball in his hands, I mean, he was getting busy. I mean, he was playing, but it just felt like they didn't give him the ball or the opportunity to really showcase everything. What you think about the Raiders?
They played the Chargers, and I would say the Raiders. I would say it was the first game. I'll leave it at that. I think that they're gonna be okay. That first game, man, it was again. It don't mean that much, but it was a division game, and I think they were the only ones that lost.
You know what kind of got me?
No, Broncos lost too.
For the first time, I saw the resemblance between Derek Carr and David Carr. He was holding the ball entirely too long in that game. I was
That's
happy
fair.
that he was giving the ball to Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I held in the fantasy league. I pretty much got Devontae Adams across the board, but I was shocked that he was holding the ball as long as he was.
Yeah, not really. Not really. I mean, as David Carr, you would think that he would let the ball go a little sooner. But there were times where I was like, it felt like the Chargers forgot that Devontae Adams was on the other side of the field. He was open so much. I think that the Raiders, they're just a weird bunch, man. And I think Derek Carr Derek Carr he's one of those that he reminds me a lot of Kirk Cousins, and it's just like it's like you see a lot of good when sometimes, but you see like bad. Like he could definitely play ball. He could throw for 160 or 150, but also throw for damn near 400.
I don't know. What I was thinking about is like I was thinking that this season, this was the season that Derek Carr would like put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was the year that he's going
Absolutely.
to be MVP, and it's week one. Like
Right.
we really, really, really don't know how the rest of the season is going to play out. But I just really thought that this was going to be the season, and looking at that showing, I was like, man, it looks like the same old Derek Carr. But hopefully, he progresses. It is only week one.
I think he gets a bad rap too, because I mean he had a good season last year. Yeah, he did have a good season last year.
Well, he threw for over 4,000 yards,
Mm-hmm.
like 4,600 yards. I mean, that's a good season. I mean, he's typically top 10
And made the playoffs.
and made playoffs. Yeah, so he's typically top 10
Yeah.
in whatever he does.
But would you consider him a top 10 quarterback?
No, he's not my top 10 quarterback. I feel like that he is. I have Derek Carr right there with Kirk Cousins. He's not necessarily
Oh, God,
my,
not this again.
no,
Oh, God.
he's not my guy,
Uh-huh.
but he gets the job done. I even watching Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
I even had to come around to help him a little bit more to where like he looked pretty good in that Tennessee game.
Mm. What did you say, yo?
I said Ryan Tannehill, he made some throws. Now, they ended up losing that game,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to look at it. I was like, Tannehill out here throwing. So how'd you feel about the Giants? Uh-oh.
No, hold on. I'm just, yo, you giving Tannehill props.
You know what? I watched him,
This is
and he didn't look as bad as he normally looks. Like he was making some NFL throws that I didn't think he was capable of throwing. Now again, he's not my guy, but I have it's an odd ranking, right? So I got Kirk Cousins slightly better than Derek Carr,
okay.
and then I got Derek Carr, and then I got Tanner.
Okay.
You think that's pretty much
I mean,
fair
that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, you got Dak over all of them, though,
Yeah.
right? But back, all right, so Tennessee
No, I
Giants.
don't think it's a comparison. I don't think Dak is in that conversation. I think that conversation you start putting people may see this as a little bit disrespectful, but maybe Carson Wentz.
It's not bad. Right now, he's definitely in that category. And I would probably take.
Where do you put Matt Ryan? Do you put Matt Ryan in that category, or do you put Matt Ryan in the same category as Dak?
So I think right now Dak is better than Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan is old. I don't. I want to see what he does with Indy. So I don't know, but
I was not all that impressed with his showing.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was a bad showing.
But they
Right.
tied too, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
tied. Tied with the
Texans.
Texans.
Oh God. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so when I saw that, and I saw Matt Ryan, I was just kind of like, typical.
We'll see. I mean, it's still early, but in regards to like Tennessee, excuse me, that was rude. I apologize. That's exactly what I felt about Tennessee and the Giants.
Well, you got to admit that was a gutsy call.
Absolutely.
By the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Going for went for two instead of kicking the field goal. I mean the extra point, and put them up one. And I mean, they missed the
No risk it, no biscuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's the thing about that. That gets all the players on your side as a coach, whether you get it or not, right? Because if they like, oh, he's willing to take, yeah, he's willing to take chances. He's willing to go for the win. So guys tend to buy in a little easier. I like the way Saquon looked. I didn't like the fumble, even though it went out of bounds. But I tell you what, I'm not gonna get outrageous like some of these Giants fans have gotten. But I will say
it's been a while since they've been like
over 500.
Well, it was a good win. It was a good
absolutely,
win.
absolutely.
It was
and I think the biggest part about that was the way Saquon Barkley played. When he looked like his old self, and I tell you what, Daniel Jones didn't look that bad. He looked all right. He looked like somebody that's trying to win some games, and knows that he's on his way out if he doesn't perform.
Right.
You know, so
same with Saquon. Saquon was running with vengeance. I've been hearing about the offensive line and how they revamped that. No, it was a good win for the Giants. It was a good win. Now they got the Panthers coming up this weekend, and we'll call it the Charles and Ernie Bowl. So let me ask you this: do they have money now for that?
Cool.
Charles and Ernie.
They might. I don't know. I don't know if they
do a little bit of research.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out because Charles and Ern, both their teams stink, and their fantasy teams stink. And the crazy thing is, we'll get to that in a second. Let me wrap up.
But you know what's weird about this bet? Now I wanted to bring this up. Charles and Ern are two of the luckiest people that I know. Right, as far as good men do the right thing, and they've got good fortune coming their way. So I'm interested to see whose fortune is going to be like, who's going to win that game, because they both have good fortunes. So.
All right, so and we could get into like the fantasy stuff real quick. So in our fantasy league, all the fellas. Ern is in last place.
Okay.
Now Charles, who surprisingly, I think everybody in the league thought he was going to be in last place. So people out there listening, love Charles to death. He can hack a computer like no other. But my God, he makes some of the weirdest moves in fantasy. All right, and so we're in a keeper league, and he traded Cooper Kupp for a bag of Skittles, but he did get a next year first round pick for him. So here's my question to you. In real life football, if you had the opportunity to trade Cooper Kupp and get a first round pick for next season, would you do it?
Yes.
So if you could get next year's first for Cooper Kupp, you would do
it. So it depends on the status of my team, right?
Okay.
So if I'm all in, yes, I think it's worth it. I even think from a fantasy perspective, if you're all in, like let's say week 4, right? Let's say you're 2-2, but if you've got the production from a Cooper Kupp, I think he's worth it first round.
Ooh. I don't know, man. I think so. I think that trading the first for Cooper Kupp, who I guess he's the number. Well, he's definitely the number one in LA. But to give up a first and not know where you're going to draft the rest of the draft is super risky. But if you feel And if you feel like you're one player away, I guess you would, because you know what? Here's the thing. I did it last year. I traded my first. I want to say for Debo Samuel and Joe Mixon, and it ultimately worked out, and I ended up winning the championship. But
I traded my first. I ended up at second.
Who'd
Would
you
I
lose
do
to?
it? I lost you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I lost you. Would I do it again? Absolutely yes.
Really?
I don't regret that move one bit. Now, with that,
Mm-hmm.
I made some other bad trades that put me in the predicament that I was in the trap day. So it wasn't the first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
It was just all the other little bullcrap trades I did. But I would encourage anybody in that league, if you're all in
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like you can win, and why not? You know what I mean? If you really know what you're doing, and that's what it boils down to, you're going to be able to find talent in the draft or on the waiver wire, or
Right.
you'll be able to make moves later on down the road. Now it's a bit early to kind of mortgage next year because you really don't know how the rest of the season is
Right.
going to shake out. But,
Right.
nah, I definitely agree with that. You're all in, go all in.
So I say that because Charles, and we've gone through this. Charles traded traded Cooper Cup. So here's the thing, and we're not gonna get into the specifics in regards to his team and his trades, but I will say this: Charles potentially could have had Cooper Cup, DeAndre Swift, and Kirk Cousins. That's a tough three right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tough three right there. But I mean, our league is so competitive that 1 week you could be on top of the world. Next week you could be looking up like help.
So let me ask you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would have said their season was over.
Right.
I've since looked at his season. I don't think his season
The season's not over.
is over because even though he traded Cooper Cup,
Mm-hmm.
he still has 2 first-round draft picks.
He does.
So he can still get back into the game
Mm-hmm.
if he wanted to.
If he
So
wanted
if you
to.
got two firsts,
Mm-hmm.
who's to say that you don't flip your second
Mm-hmm.
for a pick? And yeah, you gave away Cooper Cup, but
Now you probably get 2 other players with production that'll help you. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he has assets.
yeah, because if you got 2 firsts, your second and third now become expendable.
Yep, absolutely. Because I ended up last year. I traded my first. I didn't have a first or a third. And I ended up. I think I might have traded my second too. But what ended up happening is I traded Amari Cooper, and it ended up getting back a second. Yeah, yeah. So I got a second, but my keepers were Joe Burrow and Debo Samuel, who both would have went in the top four rounds. Absolutely, they would have went in the top 4. So I feel like, and I still have Joe Burrow, I could keep him again next year. So actually, because he was a 9, so this was a 7. So
yeah, so you just gotta give up your 5th.
Yeah.
Next year, the keeper.
Yeah, which is, all right. That's fine with me.
Yeah. When you really, really, really break it down, your picks. Yeah, you want to keep your whole draft, but if you really have a different strategy and what you're doing, you can turn it. It's all in how you play the game or try to be strategic with it.
Yeah. So shout out to Charles and shout out to Ern. Actually, I go against Ern this week. I'm gonna kick his ass.
I got Marcus this week.
Let's talk about Marcus. You want to talk about Marcus? Let's talk about Marcus. Oh, let me. You want to know what he said?
What did he say?
He said there's a lot of wealth in the background. In the background.
Ain't no wealth back here.
I beg to differ, but nonetheless, we can we can move on. We're gonna get into the winner of the week. I ain't about to play the thing. We working out the kinks, y'all. So
You ain't gonna play it?
uh, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. All right, boom. All right, you know what? And I'm gonna give you a solo. All right, go ahead, man. Who's your winner of the week, man?
All right. So my winner this week is Robert Sarver. If you don't know, that's the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury owner. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know, he was suspended from the NBA for both leagues actually for a year for and fined $10 million because of his racial slurs. He had said some misogynistic things, and it just had Donald Sterling vibes. So he's my winner of the week because it's like, man, like when will people learn that this behavior is not acceptable? So let me ask you this, and it's up for debate, right?
Okay.
So Adam Silver said that he wasn't in a position to take a seat. Do you think that they should have forced him out of ownership, or are you fine with the year suspension?
I don't know if they should have forced him out. I wouldn't have been mad if they did. I think that he probably should have been um, suspended longer, and maybe um, I mean it's a year suspension. I don't think he was as bad as Donald Sterling, and this is
Okay.
why. Donald Sterling had a history from the '80s of just treating minorities bad. From before he even owned the Clippers,
Right.
right? So he had homes where he was putting minorities out or overcharged, whatever it was. He was a really bad person, and I don't necessarily think that they're on the same level. At least if they are, I don't know about it because we would have heard that he did X, Y, and Z. Now I know he used racial, the N word and stuff like that. Um, Donald Sterling was way worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was way worse. So I feel like he had so much back. Um, Adam Silver had so much pressure to do something, and I think that Adam Silver already knew about all of these things, but didn't really have power to do anything. Because this was that David Stern, not David Stern. What's his name again?
Not Stein.
Um,
Donald Sterling.
Donald Sterling. I said David Stern. So that was his first, pretty much real.
Welcome to the NBA.
Yeah, that was his first thing
Yeah.
his first decision as a commissioner. And you had somebody like Magic Johnson saying he'll never go to another NBA game while he's still an owner. You had players pretty much threatening to like walk out and not play, and a bunch of other things. So I don't think that they were the same, and I don't think they should have been punished the same. I do think that he probably should have had a harsher punishment, and what the harshness is. I don't know whether it's a longer suspension, a bigger fine, whatever.
$10 million is pretty heavy.
That is even if you're a billionaire. Yeah, I mean, $10 million is $10 million. So, but I don't know. But I do think that you know, I wouldn't say it's a slap on the wrist because I guess technically it is because.
A year
So what I need to know and what I don't know is he's suspended a year, but does he still get paid from everything that goes on with the team?
So that was the same question I had. So like, prime example with the 49ers, when Eddie DeBargo on the team, and he had got into his little troubles and whatnot. He had to sign the team over to his sister and do that. So what I'm wondering, I guess we got to research it, is does he have to sign the team over? Or does he just collect everything and he just can't go into any of the games? Or what does the suspension
for
really be?
For an owner?
For an owner,
right?
Yeah, can he not be at the facility? Can he not be in the offices? Does somebody have to run the day-to-day operations? Like, it's a lot that's entailed in that.
And I would like if people know to share because I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know because it's like you can't go to the games.
Yes,
He probably was like, okay,
right.
Yeah, I don't have to go to the game. So I would definitely want to know what does a suspension entail for an owner.
Right.
Because I know what's the name of the owner for the Colts? He got suspended before. Well,
right?
Yeah. So you just don't. You don't know. You don't know. So should be interesting. Speaking of WNBA, because it's almost over. The Las Vegas Ace. First of all, Asia Wilson is a beast. She is absolutely great. Was watching I think it was last night. Yeah, last night. It was game 2. So they're on the brink of winning the championship. And I personally feel like with with the WNBA now they're playing on ESPN and they're trying. And we always talk about this about the visibility of the WNBA and things going on with the WNBA. And I feel like you need good playoffs to build like viewership and things like that. Because once they're like, oh, this one is I could be watching this, blah blah blah. And so right now, Connecticut, who lost to the Mystics a few years ago, they need to find a way to get it to a game 5. I personally don't. I think they're going to lose the next game. I don't even think the game's going to be close because I think the Aces are that much better than everybody else. And because let's be honest, yeah, these are all professional, but Becky Hammond was under pop. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, she was getting tutelage from
coach.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So she's probably taking the Spurs, how they do everything, and which a lot of those coaches some of them may have played in the NBA, or some of them may have played in the WNBA or been around the NBA game, but she was under pop, and so now this is her first season, and they in the final. They are a game away from winning the championship. I think that Asia Wilson already has a statue at University of South Carolina, so that says a lot about her. Yeah, she's a come on, man. She been out of college maybe 5 years maybe. So shout out to her. I'm definitely gonna be watching Game 3. I like WNBA playoffs. I like WNBA, me personally, but I know a lot of people don't. So, your thoughts?
No, I couldn't agree more.
Stop and watch WNBA. But
no, but you know, and this is bad. I don't really start watching to the championship, and I guess because your daughter plays, and you got daughters, you've always been into it a little bit more, so you'll keep me okay, hey, this is on, this game is on, and normally once you start talking about it, that's when I start watching it. But as far as really watching it throughout the season and knowing that, I know the players because it's hard not to know the players just because you follow the college game and you know the stars. But yeah, the deep dive into it.
I get it. So, all right, man. It's almost time for us to go. It's our first time in the same building recording the show in a year and a half. What are your thoughts? Because we got to get some of these kinks out, but
absolutely.
But we didn't even know we was live. I knew we was live, but I was like, wait, are we really live?
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. And so
you get used to looking at your computer screen and just looking at everything. So
yeah, and we'll get back to You know, we was in the studio for like so long. Now we're in this great place. So when we do have people come by, we're gonna go to the couches over there. We got couches over there. We got TV. You can watch the game. So
You've inspired me to upgrade my setup.
I mean, I like it. I like it how it is. But whatever. I mean, however you want to do that, that's fine with me. But nah, man. I think that we'll have some of our friends come by. You know, they're gonna want to come by because you got a plethora of beverages behind you. So so yeah. So we gonna be straight. We'll get these kinks out. We'll make sure everything is good for the people, and be back every week like we was before. I mean, even in the past song, people don't understand. In 2020, that joint was tough because we ain't had nothing to talk about. I mean, well, we figured it out. We had interviews. We had some interviews. But when we didn't, we had to talk about the last dance. The last dance.
I just remember 2020 sitting down here. I guess the last time I did the whole setup right here,
Mm-hmm.
not having an official camera, using like the actual computer camera.
Yeah.
And not having a haircut.
Oh God.
And basically, somebody accusing me of being a Hulk Hogan because I couldn't keep the beard trim, so I just shaved it off. And somebody was like, "Man, you got Hulk Hogan mustache." Next day, immediately like, I was like, "Oh man," "This is bad, man." But COVID, you just didn't know, man.
We
Now
know
we're back
nothing.
outside. Everything's back going. Everything is starting to feel normal again. We back.
Yeah, man. So we gonna we got so next week we'll be back here again, and we're gonna make sure the sound is good. We're gonna make sure people can hear Scott because they're sitting too far away. But I know the reason why, because we don't have our microphones. But we'll have the microphone situation squared away. And once we just started talking, it's like ain't no point in stopping. Just keep on going.
With it, right.
Yeah. So we'll work that out. Yeah, man. So I mean, I think we good. You got anything else? Good. I'm tired, boss. Been up all day. But just off the record, I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
And in this great establishment here. We out, man. We out of here.